Our top story tonight at 5, Georgia Democrats have a new leader in the Georgia House, and he's hoping to bring more attention to issues in Middle Georgia. The party voted for Representative James Beverly of Macon after former leader Bob Trammell lost his seat in the general election. 41 NBC's Shelby Coates spoke with Beverly about his goals and any expected hurdles in the upcoming year. It's a story you'll only see on 41 NBC.
Congratulations. What are some of your goals, or what do you hope to get accomplished?
Yeah, so, we have some big ticket items coming up. There's going to be a lot of activity around voting, obviously. They're going to try to change the rules, as we start to see now in the Senate and in the House. They're trying to change the rules because they lost, quite frankly. And there's no need to do that, but I'm sure there's going to be a level of political fighting that has to happen around the issues of voting, having free and fair elections. But the reality is that the next piece, the big thing, is going to be reapportionment. Each House member is probably going to pick up an additional 5,000 to 6,000 people. And so how do you draw a fair map across the state of Georgia? And that's going to be extremely important. And then I have some things that I absolutely want to accomplish. I think the budget is not reflective of the value proposition of Democrats, and I think the value proposition of working class folk. And so we're going to take a swipe at the budget as well.
Being in the minority, do you feel like, especially with the lines being redrawn, it'll be a battle working with the Republicans?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can anticipate it being a battle. There's no if and buts ors about it. This is it. I mean, this is where the rubber meets the road. I'm not walking into this believing that we can all get along when it comes to gerrymandering, because it brings out the worst in people. When I first got elected in 2011, I went through that process. And so I got elected in a special election, and 3 weeks later, I was right in the middle of this gerrymandering and reapportionment. And it was brutal. And I didn't know what was going on. I literally was like looking around like, what in the world? People say they wanted certain things in the district, it got changed. I was like, man, this is a mess. Now, 10 years later, having gone through that experience and now leading the caucus through that, I think it'll be a value add that I bring to that conversation. Try to keep people calm, make sure we stay focused, and then get the best deal that we can as we move forward.
We saw Georgia flip in the presidential election. A lot of Democrats excited about that. Do you feel like that could trickle down into our state house?
The reality is because we're picking up population across the state, then what's going to happen is, because of demographic changes in Georgia, then places like South Georgia and the northwest corridor of Georgia, they're losing population. And because they're losing population, then those districts are going to cannibalize one another. And it's going to lead to, I think, an increase in Democratic representation across the state. Because you're in the arc, I call it the northern arc, the arc that goes around Atlanta. That arc is picking up a lot of population, and you got to have proportional representation across the state. And in that proportional representation, then how does a place down in southeast Georgia pick up an additional 5,000 people when they're losing population, which I think creates an issue with cannibalization of some of those districts, and it leads to, I think, some positive outcomes for Democrats.
Is there anything else you want to say or get across, especially for your constituents here in Macon and Middle Georgia?
The best thing that, what I didn't realize is in becoming minority leader is that there's a lot of opportunity to help Middle Georgia. And now we have a minority leader in the House that comes from, Central Georgia, that really puts a light on what we're doing. I mean, you got the I-75-16 corridor. There's a lot of money coming into this area. And I just want to make sure that I'm a good steward over the responsibility of being a minority leader, and then bringing positive stuff to our area, including jobs. And I'm going to be dealing with poverty in a very big way when I get back up to the Capitol. So looking forward to that as well.
And Beverly is starting his 6th term in the Georgia House. He represents the state's 143rd district, which covers Macon.